so what was so exciting about that was, like, a part of me didn't want to know anything about your past relationship, and but one of the things that I'll never forget, that I always remember to know, that no matter what our relationship was like, if I didn't listen to you, Astarte, if I didn't listen to you and wasn't sweet and gentle and soft and kind and always, always, always listening and really helping you throughout that healing part,
I would pull out the paddle.
well, don't believe it.
Sorry.
Besides that, that was just like only once or twice, guys.
Yeah,
But,
right.
but seriously, I'm talking more about, there's no way you would have ever fallen in love. I'm sorry to say, or I'm happy to say.
Well,
Because
for a
if
long
I-
time you didn't listen, and that's when I did pull out the paddle. So
No,
to
really?
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, that's what it was? I wasn't listening?
yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that right now.
Well, yeah.
But
so,
no, but
the
you
listening,
wanted me not to
listening
move.
has
But you,
been a learning process.
yeah, but
Learning to listen, and then learning to not react, and learning to calm the chemicals in the brain,
Mhm,
and be
mhm.
more present, and be more in the heart, and be more calm. So reaction, so many people do. And that's a whole other conversation. Learning how to not react.
But when I asked you what was it that bothered you the most about your partner in bed, you said to me was because they did not listen to you.
They did not let me make requests of what it is I knew I wanted, and
Right.
totally knew what I
Right,
wanted.
right,
and I
right,
totally
right.
knew my body.
They saw that as controlling. Totally
Yeah.
thought you were the most controlling person in the world. And meanwhile, what they don't, the key to the woman's locket is listening.
Yes, that's exactly right. That they thought that I was so controlling
Right.
because I knew exactly what I wanted.
Well, they were narcissistic and couldn't think of anything but themselves. And so if they wanted it hard and fast, and then you were like, "Wow, what are you doing here?" And they were like, "Oh, fuck you! You controlling person." Like it's like, they just never listened to you. So I heard that very early on in our relationship.
Right.
So I knew that if I did not listen to you, like deeply, in a physical level, nothing was ever happening if I didn't obey and pay attention while we were making love.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. In general, about
Right.
going to certain things and doing things, I argued and I'm a big resistor, but not with that one. I knew that was the only way that your love was going to deepen with me, is if I would allow myself to have you share some boundaries that I wasn't going to cross, and that was one of them. Like I was like. You said you used to jump on that partner when they were cooking or whatever it was, just because you got no attention, and there was no relation. I never. It's unconscionable for me to even think that we would ever be in a place where we didn't resolve an issue before we went to bed.
What did you say? On what?
Unconscionable.
On
Isn't
who?
that a word? Unconscionable?
No.
Yeah, unheard of, like completely outrageously unheard of, like.
Okay, well just say that.
Okay.
I have no idea what that other
Well,
word
I don't
is.
know. We'll have to look it up afterwards. But it just described to me like what it would be like to have a relationship where you were not on the same page.
Right.
Oh my God.
Well, that's what communication is like.
Is that why you made me go to all those courses? Or not made me, but sort of encouraged me because you wanted me to have some stupid distinctions that I thought were just stupid. And in the end, man, oh my God, I
Communication.
can't believe where I'm at with it. It's
not just.
it's the key to the world, the changing of the world, man. It
Yeah.
really is. Oh my God, the brain and understanding the brain, the what so of like what's real, what's not, what's your point of view. I mean, we won't go there right now, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, like and how easily and quickly the brain can react. Oh my God, and trigger and get triggered. How quickly, and then like being able to catch yourself when you do react. Oh my God, that's been like a gift and a miracle to finally come to a place of not being triggered all the time. So many people have that issue, and they blame the other person, or they think it's the other person, but they react, and their triggers are by being avoidant, or shutting down, or disappearing, or not talking about it, instead of being outward with their trigger. Some people like fully express about it. The others that are triggered, they're still triggered, but they're quiet, or they don't say anything, or they disappear, or they just ignore the other person and don't want to deal with them, or they complain to their friends about them. They're still being triggered. They're still triggered, no matter what. It's still a reaction, and both people are a part of it. So learning how to be able to let it go has been the greatest gift. That was what I was responding to.
And what you're saying is really the what you're really saying is the actual reality of like how it was with us, and learning about how to redo the triggers and be aware of them and stop it. But when you were saying all that, which is brilliant of how you got there, for me, I say we hit the young people when they're young, and we help them like not have to go to that grooving of that part of the brain that we continue to create those patterns in all our relationships. So if you're dysfunctional, so you start at 8 or 9 and you're beaten or abused by your parents,
whatever,
or 3 or 14, or it doesn't really make a
15.
difference. You end up chasing that every relationship you have until you recognize that. And it's and really when it comes down to it, it's freaking just brain science.
Oh, it totally is.
Change your brain.
Change your brain, change your life.
Right.
So, and the other topic you wanted to talk about was listening to your woman, and that was the other thing. Was really,
we just talked about that with listening to your woman, right?
But also on the other side, for women to be able to really express what they need and communicate what they need, and how important it is for them to be heard in the way that they really truly need in every moment, because it could be like they might need a change right now, and right now, and then another 30 seconds, and then another.
I get what you're saying.
And then another 3 minutes, and then it could be another 30 seconds, or breathe and feel into it. She might need to move again, like adjustment, like a little adjustment. It's kind of like when you're giving a massage. When you give a massage, the movement of the tension of the muscle changes just a little bit. So you move to that little bit, and it could take 30 seconds, or it could take a couple minutes to feel the change of where the body wants to go. But when the man can honor her and really follow her needs, follow her intuition of what she needs and what her body is telling her, then she receives what she needs, which allows her to feel safe, and allows her to feel like she can trust, and it allows her to open her heart, and it allows her to feel accepted and wanted and adored and appreciated and honored. And in that, she can melt and eventually become vulnerable and eventually open her heart, which could take weeks or months or years. But it still will happen if she is honored. And then she will be madly in love, which is what all women want. Women want to be madly in love. Like, no matter what, women want to be madly in love. They want to be so in love that they're like celebrating and raving to all their friends that everybody's jealous.
And FYI,
that's what women want.
And FYI,
and
I'm feeling I wouldn't be able to hear you say what you're saying if I didn't experience being able to receive now.
Yeah,
okay.
That's another point.
Okay,
but you hear
what I'm saying? I'm listening to it. I'm going, oh my God, I would never be able to hear you if I didn't learn that. Anyway.
But that's another point, being able to receive. I mean, that's a whole other.
Okay, I'm just saying for me, because I just never received.
I
so
know.
I'm hearing you. So people out there that haven't received might not understand what we're talking about.
Right, being able to receive love is a whole other dimension. So we'll get. So, but being able for women to be madly in love and to experience feeling that depth of closeness and that depth of love, where she's crying in joy and she's crying in gratitude, or she's crying because she's tapped into an emotion about her dad or about her ex or about her mom, and they haven't been able to talk to anybody.
That's healing emotional energy.
Right, but let me finish.
Yeah, no, but I just want to say I get that. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
So being able to feel all that, and for her to be madly in love, because she could I lost my train of thought. For her to be able to receive and experience the love that she needs, and then her to be able to open herself up to feel in love, is what a woman wants ultimately. And she's not able to feel that way if she's not honored and she's not supported in what her body is telling her.
Okay.
So that's
So it's about the woman.
so that's about the woman. That's about the way the woman melts and the way she opens her flower, the way she opens her wings. You know.
Okay, I got that.
So,
All right,
and
all right.
that's
So
what
that's about the woman.
that's about how she's supported to blossom into being a goddess and to being
Okay.
to being an empowered woman. Women will become empowered by having her man support her in what she needs in the moments that she needs it, and being honored for getting those needs met.
Oh man, I never wanted to do. I've never done this with anybody.
Right. So, but
moment by moment, like you
moment
said.
by moment, and it shifts each moment. It shift like, and it's in the moments that you're working on each other, you're laying together, and you're cuddling. But it's in those moments that she's able to communicate what it is that she needs.
Or what you don't like.
Or what she doesn't want. What she doesn't want.
The way I touched you. Oh my God!
wants
Did you ask me if I could touch you there? You know, like you would say that to me all the time. I'd be like, "What do you mean I can't touch your breast or whatever?" Dude, like, ask me.
Exactly.
You'll know when you can.
That's
Without
right.
asking. That's what you said. I go, why are you always able to grab me? And you said, because you love it and you want that.
That's
Anyway,
right.
go ahead. So, I'm sorry. So go ahead.
So I don't remember.
Yeah. So, but
that.
what I was saying is that what you were saying is about women and what men should do when they want to really help their woman heal, is how I heard it,
Right.
was to listen to them in all of what they need in every single moment. Okay. And then they can have this blissful experience.
And then she melts and she melts.
Right.
And
Well,
she
what
melts.
about the guy? That's all I kept thinking about. Because for me, with you, lately,
It's the same.
it is the same.
It's the same
Because
for.
now I'm crying, like when I look at you.
It is the same for guys, but
Okay. But that's not what we think about. We think
no.
about going out and getting the food and manifesting and generating. Like for me, maybe that
money and work
money
and
and work.
business.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but you
Yeah.
do too. But I see what you mean, though, on the woman part of you.
It's
I'm
the
not bred to
same-
look for
It's
that.
the same for the guy, but for guys, for women, it's easier for her to listen to the man and for her to honor what he needs, because she's a woman. She's a feminine.
But
she's
when you
the
told
mother.
me that, though, when you told me that, I stopped doing that. I stopped being the one that was just having you want to do what's. And this is a whole other topic about how when we were in California and you said when I heard from you that you were doing things for me that you know and not having your needs met and the artistic things and painting and from the minute we got to the airport wanting to walk around the mall when we got home in the food court when it was like 1:00 in the morning, I did it because I knew I had to change that I had to listen to you, that I'm loving painting, and it's freed me, and my flower
And
arranging is
dancing.
so amazing. Not even the dancing. I could never do flower arranging because I had that in my head. It wasn't good or blah blah blah, or I could never do artwork. And now, like I just go to my soul and I do it. I finally get that. But that's from listening to you tell me that how important it is. For me, I felt so bad when you said, "Hey, man, I'm doing so much for you because I, blah 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 blah," and I just looked at you and it made me like so deeply sad that like you would ever want to do that. But I wanted you to be equal with me in that respect, and I wanted to honor you.
Well, I was
And guess what
expressing how
now?
frustrated I
And
was.
guess what? I
What?
cried now for the first time because I'm slowed down enough to say, "Who cares? Don't worry about if she thinks you're."
It's not gonna.
Girl or whatever, I just would cry though. I would cry because of what you just described. But it wasn't about thinking about mom or dad or a past feeling. I
Yeah.
always felt that feeling when I cried. Does it make any sense? Now I'm thinking I'm just crying because I'm so deeply madly in love with you. That I see you, understand you, and I can actually feel you now. Is that crazy? Do you understand that? Did I lose you?
Well, we're talking about so many topics.
I
And,
know, I'm sorry. Anyway,
no, I was saying that.
about the woman and about what the woman.
Oh, I was expressing how
No,
I was
they-
frustrated. Like I had felt unheard for a
Oh,
while, for months, and it got to a point where I finally expressed my frustration.
Which we were also a team, and we were doing so many crazy things, and we weren't hanging out, and we went into like we were just coming out of the Triggerville,
Trigger
especially
City.
with you on team. Then it was like so big for you. team with you, team me, team you. It's a lot.
Well,
It
we
was
don't
a
want to
lot.
talk about that.
But what I'm saying is that it was
I
nice
don't know
that
if
you.
we should talk
It was
about
your last day though, and
Yeah,
that
it
it was
was.
your last day, and we were celebrating, and you finally told me how you felt, and it's
Yeah,
brought
I
us
was
to
like,
a
all
whole new.
right.
It's brought us to a whole new place, man. Anyway.
So it can sometimes take a while to finally express how you really feel, but when you finally do, it can create the balance of what each person needs, because each person has the same significance of need, but you're not always able to say it at the same time or be caught up equally, because you might not realize you needed to say something, or you were busy, or you're focusing on something else, and then once you realize that you have need, it's like I would call it a withhold.
Yeah, but when you're
They
yeah.
say in the mark groups, okay, I have something I've
Right,
withheld
right,
from you.
right.
So it's just when you get to express that, then you release that off of your chest, and then you can create a balance again.
It's much harder to get there when the way we were, where it was so much change and so much hard, deep work that we've done with each other, physically and emotionally, that when you're so caught up in that moment of change, of healing, when you're in the healing space.
Well, we were on the fast track.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you're so in the healing space, like where's there time to ever think about those kind of details? But
Right.
when you
but
finally
when you
do,
finally realize it, then you do,
oh
and
my
you're
God,
good again.
It's good
You
again,
just- yeah,
better
you-
than ever again.
Right.
Never like I've ever been before.
Yeah.
Beyond, to be able to allow you to love you and to honor you as a goddess, my life as a man, that's what we dream about.
Oh, you know what?
I dream about that you're happy, so that when you're really happy, then I can, because I'm defensive and I'm closed and I'm not as open, and I'm open all the time.
That's the Capricorn in you.
But if I'm open, Capricorn or not, if I'm open, I'm cool to hang out with. I'm a nice person.
You're fun as hell.
I know, but it's so hard to be not. It's so
Should
hard.
be a comedian.
When you're in work and you're working and you're trying to make like a couple $1 million after having like 62 cents in your corporate account,
Yeah.
it takes a little focus.
Yeah.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
Another year between you and I, with your woman and I, things like that.
Well, so I'm going to end this at 17 minutes. But I just wanted to say that the next topic I would like to talk about is the sacred womb work.
Oh my God. We're going backwards now. I love it.
What do you call it? You call it the pelvic floor work on a woman, and all the emotions that are trapped inside there, and all the different muscles in every single angle. That's what we're
You're
going
to tell people about that?
I'm going to talk about that next.
You're going to tell people about that?
So we're going to talk about that next time.
Okay.
So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
Close it.
All right.
I love it. You're unbelievable.